Good to see everyone. Thanks for coming out. Just really excited. We have finally play. You know, this Friday we're going to open up at State Farm Center in our exhibition game against Quincy, same as the men played last week. So already had our scrimmage last Sunday, and now practice this morning already. So have tomorrow off, and then 2 days of prep going into Friday night, and then it's on. We have pretty much a game from there every 2 or 3 days and get the season rolling. So I'm ready to tip off against and play someone different. I know our players are at that point too where they're just ready to play. So anyone, I'll open it up now for any questions.
What were the biggest things you took from that scrimmage you guys had? What do you want to carry over to Quincy?
You know, my biggest message to them going into the scrimmage was I wanted them to compete. Every possession, compete, and play as hard as they possibly can. And I just really wanted to see our toughness, you know, and how we battled, how, you know, against a really good team. And I walked away pleasantly surprised with our toughness and with the level of our competitive spirit and you know, took away a lot of really good things. And it also, you know, there's a lot of things we needed to improve on. So we spent the last week or so trying to clean up those things. But that was the biggest takeaway from me.
Coach, you have an idea of the starting five for Friday?
Yeah, we started, I'll probably go with the same starting lineup I did in the scrimmage. But really, like I tell our kids all the time, you know, I really don't get too caught up on who starts. What we've had success with before is the depth and people being ready, you know, when they are called upon and going into the game. So I have a pretty good idea, but it could change. You never know.
How's the health of the team right now?
Actually, knock on wood, we're pretty healthy and should have everyone. Actually, just had a injury today, but nothing major. So should have everyone. Probably won't have everyone. Just probably will have one that will be out on Friday. But overall, doing well.
Shauna, with so many new pieces in a year one of a rebuild, do you approach the exhibition game differently than you have in the past at Dayton and with rotational pieces, and who plays well together? Is that a big part of Friday? You
know, for me, anytime I tell our players all the time, just like I said in the scrimmage, if there's refs there and the ball's tipped, we're playing to win. I don't care if there's 0 people in the stands or who it is. Like, I want to win everything I do. So we're going to approach it just like we did in the scrimmage, and we're going to, you know, prep like it's a real game. We treated our scrimmage like a real game, and then we'll you know, rotate depending on how the game goes. If we can get some other people some minutes, and we'll look to do that. But we're going in with the mindset that, you know, it's a regular season game, and we're playing to win.
How much do you have installed right now versus working on philosophy and principles?
Yeah, actually, we've made a pretty good, you know, a couple weeks ago I didn't think we had enough in. Even since the scrimmage, we've put more in. Offensively, I like where we're at in terms of our playbook. This group has really, for everything being new, this group can really pick stuff up offensively, and they remember the plays. We have a pretty big playbook, and we've able, even in the last week, I've put a lot more in. So I'm actually really impressed with their ability to remember plays. Defensively, I mean, we're a man-to-man team, but I'm not a zone person, but we have to put one in. So we've done that in the past week and put in a couple presses just to give some different looks. And we'll probably have to play some zone this year just with the depth that we have, but it usually not my favorite thing to do.
Just to follow up, generally, why do you favor man?
I think it's just who I am as a coach and what I believe in, and I always say I want to make people really earn it. If they're going to score on us, like, make them earn it and go through us, and, you know, with a tough man-to-man defense. But, you know, I also understand that some games, some teams, sometimes you got to break up rhythm of the game, and sometimes, you know, our zone has won us games in the past just by something different, and everyone prepares for us playing. You know, if you look at Synergy, it's 99% or 97% and we play man, so they're not preparing for zone. So if we can throw out some different things, you know, they're probably not going to be ready for that, and it could change the flow or the outcome of the game.
As you prepare for, you know, taking over a program that struggled perennially, like, what's your biggest challenge as a head coach year one that maybe you haven't had in years past?
I guess I'm just different. I really don't, I've said this so many times, but I don't approach it like of what the past has been here. Like, I'm approaching it like we're trying to win every single game, and there's no other option. So I don't really look at the past. Like, I just really don't. And people can be like, well, how don't you do that? It's just, I wasn't here. I don't know. Like, I'm just worried about instilling in this group the competitive, spirit to go out there, and the discipline of how it, the consistency it takes day in and day out to compete at an elite level. So that's the only mindset we have, and winners do that, and whatever that looks like. And I don't know how to translate into games, but I'm just saying that's our approach. So we don't talk about the past. We talk about today, and how can we control today to get better as a program.
Seen a lot of recruiting activity on social media. What kind of reception are you getting from the kids and from the high school coaches?
Yeah, it's been great. Really, it's, that's where I've seen it more. So going back to you, is more on the recruiting, trying to change perception, because our team is so bought in, we don't even think about it. So it's more so just changing the narrative in terms of recruiting. But I also, we've gotten a couple commits, and I think, people start seeing that positive energy going, and hey, if this kid's, gonna come, she's pretty good, I want to play with it, with her. So the reception's been really, really positive. Just still got to continue to change the narrative for in-state kids, where they've only known the program to lose. So that's where I have a hard time, because my mindset's all about the future, and they still think of the past. So that's kind of where been probably the biggest struggle, just recruiting.
I know you can't talk about specific kids, but you said it was important to get some to buy into you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that already? Like, what has been the significance of that?
Yeah, I mean, I have, and even small wins in in-state recruiting, with people having us in their final, too, that weren't even interested in the program, a year or two ago. So I think some of those, before we get one of the, talking about in-state kids, you just got to continue to chip away, and at the end of the day, it's about relationships. It's about treating people the right way. It's about building those, and that takes consistency. It takes some time. But I think I know we're on the right track with that. No doubt about it.
Who are your best communicators on the floor right now?
I think really a lot of our kids have stepped up, but I think when I look at everyday consistency in terms of leadership, and vocal leadership, Makaira Cook, Kendall Bostic, they're very vocal kids. And a lot of our other kids lead in different ways, and that's completely fine. They lead more by example. But those two are really our core vocal leaders, and have been consistent in their action daily.
You talked about depth a lot. I mean, short of injuries and avoiding foul trouble, like, is there any way you can combat that through the course of a game and of the season?
I think that, you combat that with, hopefully you do your job in some of these early games too. We can be in a position where we can get some of our bench some minutes, right? In the scrimmage, it was a tight game, and we played our normal rotation, and they played, their normal minutes. But hopefully in some of these, we take care of business, do what we're supposed to do. So now your bench can come in, give some give some breaks for your guys that are playing a lot, and then also a good opportunity for them to grow. So then they're ready when their number is called. So, our main guys will play a lot of minutes, and I know one thing I also learned from the scrimmage is that we're in really good condition. We played the pace we wanted to play for 40 minutes, and that was key. That was something else I really took away.
How many people are in that core rotation for you?
There could be like eight or nine, probably around 8, but then, with some of our bigs, we're still trying to get them into they've kind of been in now, a couple with some injuries, so we got to get them into, really good condition where they can go in and play a 5-minute stretch. So we'll rotate them around pretty quickly, but our guards, they'll play a lot more minutes for longer periods.
How do you feel like conditioning at this point?
I think as a coach, we're always, you never think you're in good shape.
Yeah.
You never think you're good. You're always negative about it. And then going into the scrimmage, when, I felt like we were the better conditioned team, it was good for me to see where we didn't really have a let up in terms of our pace and in terms of our defensive intensity, which is, is how I judge our conditioning. So I'm pretty happy with it. Now we'll see. On Friday, I'm not going to base it all off of one game. So,
what's the biggest difference between here and Dayton?
that's a good question. every place is different, right? Like every place is different. Every place has their thing. There's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of really good thing. I think it comes down to here, just like we had theirs. We had people that really care, and we have the support. We have administration that cares about women's basketball. Like we had that there, and I knew we were blessed to have it there, and we're blessed to have it here. But then there's a lot of differences. I mean, it's a totally different type of school and different conference, and but each place has its own, your own journey, and there's a lot of really good things here, and there's a lot of really good things there.
Did you get this kind of a media attention back in Dayton?
We actually had really good. Again, we were very blessed. We had really good media coverage there. I think this is great here because you have men's basketball that's having success, and right now you guys are all here for football, and that's what we want. You'll hear me say anything. We need football to win. We need men's basketball to win. So if women's basketball can, that's where we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to what Brett's doing here, what Brad has done, and we appreciate the support. I don't take it for granted. So I appreciate you guys, being here and being invested. Even if it is for football, you're here and you're asking questions, which I appreciate.
If I can get one more about conditioning. You made the decision to keep Kylie when you got here. What have your impressions been of her, and what kind of went into that decision to retain her?
Really, it wasn't a decision. I mean, I think that she's really, really good, and I think she's one of the best that's out there, and she's proven it. And we're still learning each other, and how I am is like, she's a strength coach, and I say go do your job. I don't. That's not my area of expertise. So you do what you need to do, and I trust you, and let's try to get this done together. So she's been amazing. Again, as a coach, there's probably so many times I went over and like, we're not in good enough shape, and and she just listens to me. God bless her. And then I see in the scrimmage, we were in really good shape. So, I just have to trust her process, just like she has to trust our process, and we're all working together. So she's been amazing. She's been great. And our kids love her, which is really, really important. They have that relationship, and they trust her. So that was an important key, too, in the transition.
Has Camille and the freshmen made the transition the way you would have hoped, or is it still kind of a work in progress for them as they take it to the
Yeah, it's still a work in progress, like it always is, I think, with all freshmen. And some of them have had some different journeys with some injuries. So it is gonna be a work in progress, I will tell you that.
How much are you and your staff looking forward to Friday after 7 probably long months for you guys putting everything together?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know I was telling Sarah walking up here, today in practice, you can tell there's always a point in the season where they're just sick of practicing and they want to play a game and they want to play against other people, and I think we're kind of at that point, especially since our scrimmage was over a week ago. So they're ready, we're ready as a staff, and really just ready, because then it's a test, right? That's why competition is a test, and we can see, okay, opportunity to go out there and put everything we've worked on for the past 6 months, go out there and play the game, and now, okay, what do we have to get better at? Win or lose, what do we have to get better at? How can, the game plan going forward for the practice time? So we're all to that point where we're ready for it.
Anything else? All right,